You weren't supposed to see this, yet here you are. That's not by chance. That's not a scroll gone too far. That's Allah guiding your heart even for a moment. To hear a truth most people will spend their lives avoiding because right now, in the chaos of your life, between the pressures of survival and the distractions of the dunya, you may have forgotten one of the greatest doors to Jannah. One that's not locked by complex theology or endless ibadah, but one that may be standing right there in your home, that door. It's your parents, and if you've ignored it, if you've misunderstood it, if you've made excuses around it, and you need to hear this message before it's too late, so don't scroll away. This isn't just another reminder. This is a rescue rope for your Akira. When Abdullah ibn Madid asked the Prophet, which deed is most beloved to Allah? The answer was powerful in its simplicity. The Prophet Muhammad said, prayer at its proper time. Abdullah asked then what? The Prophet Muhammad replied, being dutiful and kind to one's parents. Yes, right after Salah, the pillar of Islam, commissioning your parents, we chase after big gestures, complex goals, and dreams of impact. Yet we ignore the one command Allah placed right after His own worship in the Quran. Worship Allah and associate nothing with Him. And be good to parents. Not just good, excellent, dutiful, kind, present, patient, even when they test you. Let's talk reality in many Western societies today. Aging parents are viewed as burdens. They're placed in nursing homes, often left alone for months or years. Visits become rare, and the emotional connection, it dies long before they do. But Islam flips that script. In our tradition, the elderly aren't burdens, they're blessings. The opportunity to serve your parents in their old age is not just a social obligation, it's a spiritual elevation, in fact. In some Muslim homes, siblings compete for the right to care for their parents. Hosting your mother is seen as a badge of honor. Washing your father's feet is a means to cleanse your own sins. There was a true case in Saudi Arabia. Two elderly brothers took each other to court. Why? Because both wanted the honor of keeping their mother in their home. One was in his 70s, the other in his 60s. They weren't arguing about inheritance or money. They were fighting for the blessing of caring for their elderly mother. Imagine. That contrasts this with those who push their parents off onto siblings or caregivers, thinking they've done enough with a paycheck or a quick call. But in the sight of Allah, is that enough? People fall into three categories when it comes to their parents. Type 1, the righteous child. The one who not only fulfills obligations, but goes above and beyond, never speaks harshly, always seeks their parents' pleasure, looks for every excuse to serve them. When their mother sighs, they rush. When their father calls, they drop everything. These are the people for whom Jannah is guaranteed, inshallah. Type 2, the passive child. They fulfill the bare minimum. They send money. They call on Eid. They don't curse, but they don't care either. They say, at least I don't harm them. But that's not Birr. That's basic, and sometimes basic isn't enough. Because Allah didn't just command don't harm them, commanded ihsan. Excellence. Type 3, the sinful child. One who neglects, abuses, ignores, argues. Raises their voice, rolls their eyes, mocks their parents, or treats them as nuisances. The Prophet said of such people, there are three people Allah will not look at on the day of judgment. And one of them is the one who is disobedient to his parents. That's sink in. Allah will not even look at you. And if Allah turns away from you on that day, who will turn toward you? Well, let's address the elephant in the room. What if your parents aren't easy to deal with? What if they're harsh, or unfair, or emotionally manipulative? Turn a blind eye to that. Allah understands, but He still commands you. Even if they strive to make you associate with me that of which you have no knowledge, do not obey them, but accompany them in this world with kindness. This verse was revealed for parents who tried to force their children into shirk, and still Allah said, be kind. So what about those whose parents are simply tough, or critical, or frustrating? That's your test. That's your mountain to climb. At the top of that mountain is Allah's pleasure. The Salaf, our righteous predecessors, were legendary in how they treated their parents. One of them wouldn't eat from the same plate as his mother. Why? Because he feared that his hand might take something she was eyeing, even silently. Out of sheer adab, he refused to compete with her. Desire, another wouldn't raise his voice even when replying from across the house. And when he accidentally did, he freed 10 slaves in repentance. Muhammad ibn Sirin,
one of the great tabi'in, was so soft-spoken in front of his mother that strangers thought he was ill. Not because he was weak, but because he feared Allah.
Too much to show strength in front of her? Compare that to us, to our impatient tones, our raised voices, our eye rolls. When our mothers ask us to do something small, a single harsh word could make Allah angry with you. The Prophet said, The pleasure of Allah is in the pleasure of the father, and the anger of Allah is in the anger of the father. And what about after they're gone? The debt doesn't end at the grave. You still owe them your du'as, your sadaqah on their behalf, your kindness to their friends and relatives. The Prophet was once asked, "Is there anything I can do for my parents after their death?" He replied, "Yes, pray for them, seek forgiveness for them, fulfill their promises, honor their friends, and maintain family ties. Your connection to them doesn't die with their bodies. It continues with your sincerity. Right now you're being handed a mirror. What kind of son or daughter do you want to be remembered as? Because one day your parents will be gone. You will be a parent too. The cycle continues. But the legacy, that's yours to write. So I ask you today, not with judgment, but with love. Pick up the phone, visit their home, lower your voice, serve with humility, hug without hesitation. Listen, even when you disagree. And above all, seek Allah through their smile, because Jannah may be hidden behind their weary footsteps. And once they're gone, it will be too late to walk behind them. If this reminder touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Share this message with one person whose heart still beats with the love of their parents. Let this video be a reminder, not just a moment of emotion. Subscribe to Islamic Echoes for more content that reconnects you with the path of truth. Hit the like button if your parents still mean the world to you. Drop a comment below sharing a memory or a dua for them, whether they're with you today or resting beneath the earth. And remember, they carried you once. Now it's your turn to carry their legacy. Islamic Echoes, where hearts return to the truth.